Hello, today we are going to look at how to set up SIP trunk and number. For this demo, we will use Twilio as SIP trunk. In Comcent app, let's go to SIP trunk menu, click Create button. Let's name this trunk as Twilio. We need to fill in configurations like SIP proxy address of Twilio, which will be used to initiate outbound calls. We also need to whitelist Twilio's IP address from where we will receive inbound calls. Let's log into Twilio console. Click on Trunks menu by expanding Elastic SIP Trunking and Manage menu. If you do not see Elastic SIP Trunking inside menu, you may need to pin it by clicking on Explore Products menu. In the trunks page, you will see existing trunks if you already have one. For this demo, we will create new trunk and give it a name demo. Let's go to termination menu. This is used to configure outbound calls. Let's add a unique subdomain for termination SIP URL. Twilio needs some way to authenticate outbound calls signals coming from Comcent. We can add Comcent server's IP address to be whitelisted. Let's copy Comcent's IP address from SIP trunk creation page. Second way to authenticate is by creating username and password and copying the same in Comcent SIP trunk page by enabling outbound credentials. For our case, let's use IP whitelisting for authentication. Let's remove credentials in Comcent and Twilio setting page and select IP address we previously configured and hit save. Let's add termination SIP URL in Comcent trunk setting page. These steps will enable us to make outbound calls. Now let's add configuration for inbound calls. Let's go to origination menu and add Comcent SIP server's domain name as origination. Add SIP prefix, copy Comcent server address from SIP trunk menu and paste it in Twilio's page. Now when inbound call is received, Twilio will forward it to Comcent. Twilio needs to authenticate if inbound call signals are coming from genuine Twilio server. For that, we need to whitelist Twilio's IP address in Comcent server. Let's get Twilio's IP address from Twilio's documentation and paste it in Comcent SIP trunk page and click Create button. Now it's time to configure phone number. Let's go to Active Numbers page by expanding Phone Numbers and Manage menu. Already purchased numbers will be shown here. Click Buy a Number button to purchase new number. We will use existing number for our demo. Currently, this number is configured to work with webhook. We need to change it to work with SIP trunk. Click the number, change Configure with drop-down to SIP trunk. In the next drop-down, choose SIP trunk which you created in previous steps. In our case, SIP trunk is already selected. Hit Save. Let's configure this number in Comcent. Go to Numbers page, click Add button, fill the form. I am adding sales as the name to identify the number. Type Twilio number in E164 format with +1 prefix. Select previously created SIP trunk from drop-down. You can configure regex pattern to restrict the outbound calls. Flow diagram is used to configure what happens when Comcent receives inbound calls. Let's add dial block. Edit dial block to add current user's username. In this case, it is called user1. Click Save. Click on Start and click on Dial block to create directed edge between these two blocks. With this configuration, inbound calls will be forwarded to configured user. Save the configuration. Let's go back to origination menu of SIP trunk. Click on Make a Test Call button to test if setup is correct. We should receive a call. We have successfully configured Comcent to work with Twilio. You can follow similar steps to connect Comcent with other SIP trunk providers. Thank you.